Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Lyceum night coming to you from Paul Church down on the south coast of the UK. 24 hours late this week. Well, not late. Nothing set in stone. It has to be a Saturday, but things came up. So here we are on a gorgeous, beautiful Sunday evening. Absolutely no idea where the conversation's going tonight. Yeah, I quite like that. That's a nice way to start the evening off. So we're talking about spiritualism and spirituality and matters linked to that topic. And it's just, we're in this crazy wild time now. We've got so much going on. There's everywhere we look, there's discord, upset. All our trusts in organisations and different things all seem to be broken up at the moment. And it's a very, very confusing time. But it brings me on to one of these things that run through my head at times. And it's about the opportunity we find within spiritualism for personal development. Now, when I'm talking about personal development, I'm not talking about how your evidential mediumship can be improved, how your healing can be improved. It's actually working on the person themselves. But this is not just a subject or a topic for those people on their mediumistic path, whatever way that may manifest. It's available to everybody, bringing in this self-awareness, bringing in this understanding that we are, each and every one of us, unique individuals and unique in the way that we can connect with the spirit world, not to get messages, but just for that reassurance, for that confidence, for that company, for that closeness. But in doing so, it's helping us find our own stability. And I think this is going to be a very important asset of what we do. Quick hello. Hello, lovely Maggie. Hello, Matt. You all right, mate? It's a great opportunity to share this with people. I was very touched today in the service, looking around. And again, please remember, when I say things, it's not, look at me, aren't I clever? It's not that energy whatsoever. But I was really touched because there's people that I see now who are regularly attending here, and I can only speak for here because this is my stomping ground. And the changes that are coming in with them. And as I said, we had a lovely David Powell, and he's a great chap, really, really wonderful guy, and a lot of knowledge. And I was just talking to him just pre the service, and I said, you know what? I said, to me, this is what it's about. There's people out there talking to people who, when they first came in, you could see there was stuff going on with them, and that's fine. Who hasn't got stuff going on with them? Different sorts of stuff as well going on with them, and that's fine because we're all people. But just seeing them, part of the church, part of the community, sitting there laughing and joking with people, and I just, my mind takes me back to the first encounter with some of these people, and you're seeing some very vulnerable, very damaged people come through the doors, and we can't reach everybody. We can't. We would love to, but not everybody is for everybody. Totally get that. I always say to people, come to the church. If you find what you're looking for, great. If you don't find it, well done for looking. Keep looking. It's out there somewhere. But it really touched me on a deeper level today. because I just thought this is just wonderful that people coming in are finding something there that they find secure, something there that they can use to enable themselves to, instead of being that very quiet, shy, timid person, that they're actually acknowledging, recognizing people, chatting, laughing and joking. And I just think, that's so good. That really is so good. We're getting detracted and distracted at the moment with lots of things, everything in the outside world that's going on, but also on our inside world, the world of spiritualism. I saw a post the other day, somebody saying, "Oh, I'm serving so and so, where it doesn't matter where. Please come and support me." And I'm just like, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? I may go and see different demonstrators because I have an interest for one reason or another. But at the end of the day, I'm going to a service because I want to be enmeshed in that divinity. I want to be part of that power. I want to be part of, that connection that's happening on all the levels between our philosophy for the healing and prayers. People overlook prayer. And it really is, it's one of the foundation stones of any divine act. So be it a dem or a service or a memorial, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. The prayer really is that instigator. It really is that opportunity, that time, that moment to set the tone, to almost like an incantation, rather. To set everything off. And I love it. I love going around and seeing other people. I love going to other places and see how they work. But this current trend of come and support me. When I come across that energy in circle, I have a stock answer. And don't worry, it's not rude. But I have a stock answer. I question the word me or I. And I said, it's we. We're always part of that team, no matter what we're doing. Even, when we're working mediumistically or just trying to navigate life, that team's always there, always part of us, always on hand to be of support. Oh, this brings me nicely into something. And in and through just that method of awareness that we can open up to everybody. Nobody can not do awareness. It's an inherent part of us, and teaching that awareness, teaching that, build that connection, and people say, "Oh no, I'm not aware." And you'll say something like, "Well, when you were at the kitchen sink the other night, you just felt like your mum was there." "Oh yeah, I get that all the time." Right. So, how do you think that happens? Because that brings into another facet that I see, and I'm working very hard to sort of like give an alternative to it. We get an awful lot of people. Quick hello, lovely Jan. No, it's a washing machine, Jan. It's Sunday. I've run out of socks. Christine, hello. Tessa, Sharon, hello, darling. Moya, lovely Moya. Must get you back on, Moya. And Jan, hi. But yeah, there's this. It's a word I'm looking for. It's like a disconnection people have when they are talking about the other world, talking about spirit. And it's almost like an us and them situation all the time. Philip, good evening, sir. Nice to join us. Mr. Archibald, oh my goodness, we're all coming. Ashley, thank you for sharing that memory. That's beautiful. we have this disconnection at times about the other world. My description, I bring things down on a very visual level because that's the way my brain works. And I say it's almost like we hold spirit at arm's length like a balloon. We don't have that closeness. Oh, they will do this, and they come to me, and they do, and I just think, you want to get a little bit more intimate here, because my team's great. I have a brilliant laugh. Oh, Esmeralda, hello, darling. I have a great laugh up here. I mean, if ever I had security cameras in, I'd probably be carted off, because I can just sit here and suddenly burst out with laughter, because just this thought comes to mind. It doesn't come in at me, fanfare, announcement, proclamation. It's just there. It's just in the mind. It just appears. And it's the same with a lot of the work that I do with spirit, and a lot of my teaching methods as well. Is, good question. And so, where is the spirit world? Well, I think that question came about because I heard somebody years ago explaining, and they actually stated that the spirit world is 3.5 miles north of Barnsley. Well, that always stuck in my mind. That always, I was sat there going, I don't know how to process this. I really don't. I don't know if I was more confused by the fact it was 3.5 miles. I mean, what does that extra half mile do? I don't know. And why Barnsley? Why don't you do it like the Lake District or something lovely like that? But it's always, we do have this thing about we go to the spirit world, or the spirit world come to. I was talking to somebody very recently, and they were saying, oh yes, well, they come to me and they bring it and they do. And I'm just like, that's fine. We're all individual, we're all unique in the way that we do, but they're just here. As I say, in this room, it's full of oxygen, which we know is hydrogen and oxygen molecules linked together. Well, hopefully it is, otherwise it's going to be a very short talk. We know it's there. We know we're inhaling it. We know we're exhaling it. But you can't see it. You can't touch it. There are occasions you can taste or smell, but that's nothing to do with it. But it's just there. It just is. We accept that. And I like to think of spirit as that. It's all here, all now, all going on. And we've just got to shift our energy, shift our thinking, shift our awareness, just up, down, slightly left, slightly right, doesn't matter how you describe it. Just that little shift, and suddenly it's all there. It's all there. This is why I think a lot of experiences people have is when we're caught up with doing like mundane tasks, like washing up. Who loves washing up? I hate it. I'm going to start bringing paper plates. But doing washing up, doing ironing, just sat listening to music, one of my favourite pastimes. And because we're in that state, because we're in that relaxed state, that subtle shift in our energy, just that subtle shift within us, opens the doors and reveals to us what is already there. And I love this. I love this side of it because it is part of us. We're all unique, but we're all together in this fantastic, beautiful web. Talking of web, I saw a spider today and I was reminded of Ariadne from Greek mythology, the weaver of the web. And I just thought, oh, hello. But we're all there. We're all part of it. But as I say, I do see this sort of like disconnection of they come to me. It's a bit like sometimes one of my favourite topics. Hang on, there's a few comments coming in here. So that's lovely. Lovely, Philip. You're so right. The friendship between us and the spirit. Yeah, it is. It is. That's a nice way of putting it, actually, Philip. I like that. Because when you talk about friendship, that can start to foster this state of mind I'm talking about. When you've got a really good friend, when you've got somebody you know you can trust and you're really comfortable in their company and you're really at your ease, you can just sit there. Do you remember the days we used to sit there chatting away and then dawn would come up? Oh my God, a number of times I've done that, especially on a work day, and you think, oh no. But you're just in that timeless space. And that, you know, that is very descriptive of this communion, this communication that we're all able of doing. Everybody is able to be their own medium. In fact, I'm pretty sure the other world's grand design for the future is to put platform mediums out of business because everyone can be their own medium. Oh, happy days. That means I get Sundays off again. Woohoo! I can have a Carberry. But yeah, that's thank you, Philip, because that is really, that's just brought that in nicely. Thank you, sir. Lovely Maggie, you mean it's past the Watford Gap? Yeah, it's past the Watford Gap, so it's up north. Lovely Tesseratis, all in the airwaves. It is. Christine, I feel the same about washing up, yeah. Hands up, who likes washing up. No. But yeah, it's bringing that closeness in, it's bringing that connection, it's bringing that validation that, do you know what, number one, and this is going to touch most people, that you're not alone. You know, we can be very busy in our lives, we can meet lots of people, we can be seen. I did a post the other day because it really resonates with me about how many different versions of you are there in the world. Now, I've been saying this for a number of years. You know, you're a father, mother, brother, sister, friend, enemy, wife, whatever. But, you know, everybody out there has got this version of you. And when can we take off all the masks, take off all the things that we are to other people, and be us? And it's in these times of that connection, it's in these times when we're utilizing that awareness that we can be in that power, we can be in that moment. The word mask is very interesting as well, because I see within mediumship sometimes people put mediumship on like a mask. And I always say, no, I'm going to step into being a medium now. So, you know, this is my persona. No, seriously, think about that. You should, you know, to me, your evidential mediumship makes you very vulnerable, encourages you and allows you to explore your own vulnerabilities, your own presence, your own feelings, you know, because while that information is going, passing from spirit through spirit to spirit, there is that part of the medium, you know, and we've all had quite harrowing experiences within our mediumship. And, you know, you get some people go, oh, that was great, you did this and brought this through and brought that through, and oh, it was wow, it was wonderful. Sometimes it's really not wonderful for the medium, because that experience, for that briefest of time, is our experience. And yeah, it can be very, number one, very humbling that you're part of that process. But number two, you've got to have that, I don't like this word, but it's the only one that fits at the moment, professional detachment to go, yeah, that's fine, I understand that. I do get that. I do understand that. But let that part go. Let that go through the way it should do. But yeah, lovely Moya, lady after my own heart. Sundays off, have a carvery. Yeah. Do you know why I love carveries? Because you get peas with mint sauce and they just don't taste the same when you cook them at home. Anyway, enough of my diet. But yeah, this awareness side. And as I say, with the state of the world at the moment, everything that's going on, I mean, this is such a valuable asset that we have within our movement, within our philosophy, our religion, whatever your terminology, it doesn't matter. It's yours to use freely. That we can share that for people to find their own experience. You know, when you look at orthodoxy, and I'm not knocking orthodoxy of any religions, every religion's always say it's the same light through a different window. But in the orthodoxy, it does tend to rely heavily on you will do it this way, because if you don't do it this way, bad things will happen to you. I've never had anybody from my team and spirit say, I must do something or I've got to do something. They will always say, have you thought about, have you considered? What would happen if you tried it? You know, they always put it in ways it's very open-ended. So it's up to me to make the decision. I always say in human race, we do have one of our many, many failings. But one of our failings at times is we're looking for somebody to save us or somebody to blame. Now, we see this in orthodoxy and outside of orthodoxy nowadays. We've seen so many different philosophies, especially since 2020, appear online about different things. I'm not going into different avenues, but different things. And if you do this, if you follow this, if you subscribe to this, you know, you're going to be one of the lucky ones. You're all going to be safe. It's a bit like all these draws they're doing now. Sunday night, every other piece on Facebook is quick, 49p, and you could win £20,000. It's offering this instant self gratification. It's that energy. I wouldn't mind spending 49p and getting £2.5 grand. That would suit me down to the ground at this time. But yeah, it's very much on that self-gratification thing. But again, it's another example here of how easily we give up our power. That's an interesting topic. How easily we give away our power. How easily, you know, saying, all right, we'll bring into spiritualism and to our mediumistic development. I had somebody say once, oh, I want to be half as good as, named one of the well-known mediums. And I said, why only half? Why don't you be twice as good? Oh, no, they're brilliant. I can't do that. Well, you can't now because you just said that. You just told yourself that. Yeah, we do. We give away our power very easily to other people. And do you know where this thing about somebody to blame or somebody to save us scenario, my response to that is always that person is the one that looks back at you from the mirror. That's the person who's going to make it happen or not. We don't have that trust, faith in ourselves at times. Yeah, I think it's more trust. I've just still do, and I probably still will have times of self-doubt and lack of self-belief. But it's always there. It's always there. You know, brings you into the don't live in the past because that's gone. You can only learn by it. You can't change it. Don't live in the future because that only builds disappointment. So live in the moment. But as I say, again, coming back to this awareness thing, we can find that awareness. We can find that key that unlocks that door within us because we're all different. There's no one fix. Everyone will find this differently. But just find that time to just sit we keep giving it lovely names at the moment as well, different types of sittings. Or you do this type of sitting, you do that. So I just call it sitting because I'm sat. I'm sat and I'm comfortable. It doesn't have a title or a prelude or anything like that. It's just I'm going to sit down. It's lovely, isn't that lovely? Lovely, Philip. Philip. Exactly. Never want to be the same as someone. Always want to be yourself and the best that you can be. Yeah. Because we limit ourselves. There's a couple of people in here have in circle or been in circle with me, and will know what I'm just about to say. The minute we say I can't do that. That's it. You've just instructed your mind. If you've not seen it, watch on YouTube our 2025 rally talks and watch Mark Stone's talk on this subject, because he put it so well about the mind as a navigator. But it's so true, and people say, I can't do it. No, you can't do that. So sit down and let somebody who can do it. We'll try it, and then we'll come back to you, and hopefully you've shifted. You've come out of that, I can't. It's just different ways, different people. Mark John, I march to the beat of my own drum. Yeah, very nice. And Ashley there has picked up on, as I was saying it, and the time lag between putting comments in and you hearing me, etc. Mark Stone's talk. But it is, and it's fine because it's all going within. It's not coincidence. Towards the middle end of last year, I was looking at our program here at Poole, and this thought, this feeling came in that we're missing out on the development of the medium, not the development of the mediumistic tools or practices. It's still important. We will still have workshops to build upon your mediumship, however that manifests. But equally now we are having these talks, workshops, different events for self-awareness, for self-development. Medium said to me once, a while back, a lot of people say things to me, it's normally get out, but no. Medium said to me once, I'm only ever happy when I'm working on the platform. And I just went, I really think sometime me and you should sit down and we'll have a talk about that, because in my head there was like the Americanism, the 10-bell fire alarm going off. It was just like, wow, what's that saying? But yeah, this self-development, because again, it links in very much with the state of the world. We're losing our trust. We're losing our confidence in external agencies, whether they be government, banks, politics, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is not the time for that discussion. But that's coming, I think. But that one person is ourselves. That's where we can trust. That's where we can find peace. That's where we can find that connection and that self-assurance. And it's a bit like when you're a child, isn't it? When you got a mother or a father, if you're fortunate enough to have had that sort of relationship, if not somebody who would have filled that role, would have just given that little push to you. Would have just given you that little bit of, you can do this. And they meant it. And it was like, wow. I always remember riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle with my dad, and I had stabilizers on. Remember stabilizers? Don't see them nowadays. We had stabilizers on. I was riding around, and he took the stabilizers off. And I was cycling. I'm saying, don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. He's like, got my hand on the saddle. It's all right. So I'm cycling away. And I went, you still there? And I heard him from a distance saying, you're doing it. And I turned, and he was, well, I was small, so it was about 50 miles away. He was quite a way away, and I was cycling on two wheels. But when I saw he didn't have me, I fell off. I always remember that. But it's that energy, because you got that trust. You know, all right, you could argue that trust was broken there, but it wasn't. It was obviously not. Obviously not. But yeah, you just have that wonderful moment, and that's still there. That is still there. Those of you who are in supportive relationships, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a cat. I'm in a very supportive relationship with my cat. She meows at me and I feed her. I don't know. Okay, nice. Circle closed. But just to get that feeling that you're not alone, that somebody believes in you. Ooh, yeah, I like that energy. I like that energy coming in. Somebody believes in you, because we doubt ourselves. Yeah, and it's self-doubt again, isn't it? There's so much going on about self at the moment. There's a lot of where these challenges are, where these issues are in the external world. They're an opportunity. We have a choice. We can let it go over us. We can let it weigh us down. We can let it wash us out of the way. We can be the victim. Or we can say, do you know what? There's more here. There's more here. I can find something. Everything has an opportunity attached to it, no matter how bad, how grim, how daunting. If you pause just slightly, if you just take that breath, you can find the opportunity there, the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to work through this yourself, the opportunity on how to manage it, but not in the aggressive way or not in counterproductive ways, but in positive ways of building, of learning, of educating. You know, something pops up every now and then. People talk about evil spirits. Which book was it? Stanton Moses' book, 1878. In there, they talk about evil spirits. And where's his guide? Imperator was his guide. And he said, there is no evil, there is only lack of education. Because there is nothing that can be eradicated, removed from the energy of a person or a spirit, it matters not. Nothing can, get this right, Lawrence, talk civilly. There is nothing impossible to change what we see as evil, what we call as evil, with education. And it's this continual education. So those are the extreme cases. I've not done that justice the way I've said it, but it was fascinating to me because, again, we like division, don't we? We're a material world, so we like the 7 levels. So I'm in level 1. Okay, well now I'm going to level 2. There's no merging, blending going on. It's just sort of like jumping in a lift. You know, oh, here I am, level 2. And another side of that division type thinking is, you know, you've got good v evil all the time. But that one connection there that I read many years ago really shifted something in me, that it is about education. You know, it doesn't matter where something is, whether they're incarnate or discarnate, they can always find their way back to the light through education, not through punishment, for education. So yeah, so everything is this opportunity. But where do we get that inspiration? Where do we get the strength, the brevity to embark on this. And again, it's just by working with our awareness, allowing our team to draw close, allowing those around us to do what they love to do, just support us, just be there. All right, Philip, thank you for dropping in, sir. Deanna, lovely Deanna. Oh my gosh, it's only a few weeks and you'll be here. Yay! Thank you, Tessa. I don't know where I lit up, but yeah, thank you. But you see, it's a great name, isn't it? I love this. Listening, IB Huckleberry. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Jan, nothing can harm you without your permission. There's two sides to that. In the physical world, sadly, that is not quite correct. Words or physical violence or mental violence and manipulation will always hurt us. Spiritual side, interesting. Again, it's a very subtle energy sometimes. There's a beautiful, beautiful story, Wanderer in the Spirit Lands, transcribed 1878. I'm not born in the wrong era, am I? I should have been born then. And it describes a band of spirits going into the lower realms, what we in the physical world would call hell, and doing, again, what we would call in the physical world rescue work. Because the different realms above, we've got to have this separation above and below because we're physical. It fits our thinking. It's not the right descriptors, but for our thinking, it does fit. And they would often, bands from the higher realms would go down to the lower realms because they sensed that there would be somebody there who wanted to elevate themselves. They wanted to progress through genuine, what we would call penance or redemption or forgiveness or whatever the mechanism that brought that into place. Regret is probably the biggest one. And knowing that you regret doing something and really regretting it opens up that doorway for the assistance to come in. You know, when it comes from here, not here, it does change the energies. But anyway, so they were on a mission to the lower realms, and the gentleman who the book's all about, they went into this court, and the description of it was quite, again, written on that time, written in that language of the time. So it's quite heavy to today's world. But he was in this court where somebody was holding court and everybody was in there and it was all very drunkenness and licentiousness and everything. And this like barren figure saw this traveller and recognised where he was from, and he was being all friendly and all alluring to him. And he said, "Come and sit in my chair." And the guy says, "Thank you, I prefer to stand," or something like that. No. And he was getting more insistent about sitting in this chair. And when he looked at the chair, he could see tortured souls. I'm sorry, this is a bit grim, but this is this book. Tortured souls trapped within the chair. Obviously, there's all very symbolism going on. It just, when you read these things, you just think, wow. We think good and evil, fight like that, but it's not. Similar in this world. We've got all this thing going on like gaslighting and dealing with narcissism and things like that. It's not always a straightforward one side v the other. It's very subtle, very undermining, very insidious sometimes. So, where am I going with this? I'm going to have to replay. But yeah, going back to, we can find that inspiration, and everybody has got this ability. Everybody has got the ability. Not everybody has got the ability to show other people how to do this. I understand that. I may fail with somebody, and somebody else would just say 2 words, and the other one will go, "Oh God, yeah, I got it now. Why didn't you say that? Because I'm not them, and they're not me." Simple as that. But find this self-connection with the other world. Find that that sense of home again. Mark John, energy is neutral power. It's how it's used or intended that creates the outcome, I feel. Yeah, good statement, Mark. Good statement. This nicely picks up on something that's not been too popular, because I'm probably not explaining it properly, because it's still a work in progress in my mind. But there are times where I know I'm in connection with the other world. I know I'm there. I know I'm there. But there's no sense of emotion. Absolutely none. Now, the first time I came across this, it was quite I don't know how to handle this. This is odd. Because we're very emotional beings. When you think about it, us physical beings, emotions govern everything that we do or say. There is always that emotional link there that will, make us start an argument or help us to finish an argument, because we work with that emotional side. I think one of the strongest forms of mediumship is clairsentience, where you are working with that feeling, that emotional side. But as I say, I had this experience where there was total lack of emotion, and it didn't frighten me. It just made me stop and go, I don't understand. I need to understand this. So I sat with the team and I went, why did that transpire? Why did that come across like that? Where was the emotion? And my team are great. They talk to me very simply, which is just as well, because that's all I understand. And said they could not do their job with emotions attached. And I thought, forget that, because we can do that on this world. When I was young, I was going to be a vet. So I don't know what happened there, but obviously that wasn't to be. But when you think about it, being a vet, a lot of the time, I would imagine many vets and veterinary nurses will have to detach from that emotional side of themselves to do what is required at that time. The same with doctors, surgeons, caregivers. There's lots of times in our life when to drop out of being an emotional being into being not mechanical, that sounds cut off, but into being a functioning force, but functioning through need and want rather than emotion. As I say, if I was a vet and couldn't do that, what am I going to do when I've got an animal in pain? We will get into those states. So I found that really interesting. But it went on further. Lovely Jan from France. As humans, we have a dedicated emotional body which drops away at the end of the physical life. Yeah, I'm a big believer in the different layers to us. I use that a lot in healing, because somebody might have a bad knee, but when you start really getting into it, you find it's more like it's a tension or friction or an argument that's echoing, through all our bodies. But when I started with this connection there with the unemotional state, it did open my eyes, because my thinking just expanded and expanded on that thought. And I thought, you know what? For years we've been. I know I've said this before on here. We go. The other world is everything, right? And I'm using that disconnection that I was talking about earlier. So stop it, Lawrence. But in spirit, everything is there because it is energy. And everything that ever was, ever is, and ever could be is there. It's just there. But for years, we as the evidential mediums, we go looking, we go right into it. We're looking for that little teeny tiny spot there. We're totally oblivious to the rest of the picture. We're not mindful of that. Because we're going in, our job is to get the connection through. Our job is to link the two worlds. There we go. Our job is to bring through their words. But we're just oblivious to everything else that's there. A lot of people have been saying of late, oh, the spirit world's changing the way they're working with me. And I just think, no, we've changed. We've changed. You know, we're in that time a year ago, and I know there's a lot of people looking, you know, in your living room or wherever you're sat at this time, and just looking around and thinking, yeah, I'm a bit fed up with this colour now. I want something else. Oh, yeah, that'd be nice if we do. I want to change this because we've changed. When we first did that room and walked in, we just went, wow, this is great. This is just how I pictured it. This is wonderful. And then a few years down the line, it's like, no, I'd like this now. I want this now. And this is the same sort of thing that's going on within our mediumship. We're changing because the world outside is changing so quickly. We are changing. We're feeling wrong-footed. So we're probably a little bit more open, I think, when we connect with spirit. And instead of going in on this sort of like mission of, right, I want a message, I'm doing tonight, I'm working a dem, I want 8 messages, 7 minutes apiece, I want a mother to come through, 2 brothers, just say, this is what I want. We're now linking with the other world and just going, what the hell is going on? What is this all about? Where are we going? What's going on? And do you know what? It's all there. It's all there. All those thoughts are there in the other world. All those possibilities, not predictions, possibilities. I find trance mediumship fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And I always remember I went to see somebody do a trance dem. Now, when I've been sat in trance stems or physical work, one of the things I used to see, and I would see this objectively with my eyes. Lovely Jan, just painted my front door. It's black because it didn't have graphite in stock. You got a bit of white in there, love. Yeah, I just used to see sparkles, and they would always run along straight lines, and that fascinated me. In the church, we have a beam about 2/3 away. And when we'd had demonstrators, I knew it was going to be true trance because you get these little sparkles running along the beam. And we went to see somebody doing a trance dem, and they were sat there. And I looked, and up and down their tie, straight edge again. I find that fascinating. Quickest point from A to B is a straight line, isn't it? I wonder if that's something there with the energy. Anyway, moving off. So I saw the sparkles, and I thought, oh, that's a good sign. Thank you. But then what was said in the philosophy, I was just sat there a bit aghast and thinking, well, this isn't right. No, I'm really sorry. What you're saying is wrong. Interesting. Tessa, just these light grids. Funny, isn't it? It's just there. But what was being said through this medium, I really can't agree with this. I really don't agree with any of this. And again, I just sat with the team and just said, I don't understand. I've seen the characteristics of trance with the lights, But what was said was rubbish. So obviously it wasn't trance. But it came back, you said it was trance. You said, we don't all read out of the same book up here. We all have our own thoughts. We all have our own school of thoughts. There is no one answer to everything. You said that was somebody else's answer from our side of life that you didn't agree with. It wasn't wrong, but because to them it is correct. And I thought, I don't know whether to be disappointed because we're always looking for the answer. So apparently that's not there, but we can look for an answer. We can look for a guidance. And I just found that fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So, where else are we going? Yeah, bring it back full circle, Lawrence. So this self-awareness, I think there is definitely the opportunity at this time. There is definitely a positive to bring to not only ourselves, but to society around us, about working with our own awareness, about developing that ability to just let this world just gently fade away so the other worlds around us can become more apparent, more solid, more real to us. Because they are real. If you're in one of those worlds, it's real, solid as this world. And find that connection to provide. And again, don't go looking for the answers. I know. Yeah, see the categories. Don't go looking for the answers because everyone's answer is going to be different. But looking for ways to have peace with things, looking for ways, tools to help us to navigate where we're going. Give us those abilities to find answers to the situations of the time, but remembering that every answer you get opens up about 20 other questions seems to be the way all the time. Da, da, da. Obviously, it's fuss time. Why does every cat get on camera and think it's only friends? Because the first thing they do is they point their backside at the screen and lift their tail up. You're not on Only Friends and nobody will pay for you, so there. Yeah, and through that connection, through that ability to be your own medium, you're going to find a lot of strength out of that, because most people listening to this, whether it be tonight or later on, will be doing the thing. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, yeah, no, you can't do it because that's what you're telling yourself. Start telling yourself, I'll try that. I'll give that a go. I'll go in with an open mind. I'll see what happens. I'll see what transpires. I'll share that experience with you. Yeah. Yeah, you can give it a go. So, Jan, I want to listen to Edgar Case's thoughts on why cats come into our lives. Food. That's very easy. Food and shelter. We have another cat, and I've got to make a decision tomorrow, and I really don't want to make that decision, but I've got to. He's beautiful. She hates him. Oh well. So anyway, thank you for listening to the rambling mind of Lawrence. I hope you found something in there that's going to make you think. If you agree or disagree, that's absolutely fine, because you know what? We're all adult and we're allowed to disagree. Isn't that amazing? And we can disagree without having an argument. Wow, there's a novelty. So thank you everybody. Have a beautiful, wonderful night wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're interested, next Sunday, live online, our church service, I'll be taking it, and I'll be doing flowermancy, which is a form of divination. So it'll be like a Lyceum service. So instead of the address, I'll be going into some of the history about flowermancy and the psychic side of it and the spiritual side of it, and all different sides of it, and then actually demonstrating it. So that'll be something different to do, because there's so many there are so many things within our movement that we used to do. We used to demonstrate publicly, and over the years, for one reason or another, they've fallen away. So I just thought it'd be nice to delve into some of these older practices and, just see. So remember, that's next Sunday at 11 a.m. BST. In the meantime, from me and one hungry pussycat, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It's been absolutely lovely. It was nice to have a little drift in the mind. And we shall catch up soon. So a very good night, everybody. Good night.